Hey guys, hope you've been having a wonderful time. In case you're new here, my name is Maggie and thank you for tuning in. So, today I'm going to be giving you a banana cake recipe. And what I love about this recipe, you don't require a mixer. I know most people usually avoid baking because they don't have either the stand mixer or the hand whisk, but I got you in this recipe. And you need very few ingredients. So I have some bananas, and don't worry if your bananas are too ripe and whatnot. The riper the better, because like the banana cake recipe doesn't need like perfectly ripe bananas that don't have, you see how mine look, just look at that, and this is fine. And I also need flour, so I have all-purpose flour. This is X. Any all-purpose flour is enough, is good enough, and bicarbonate of soda. In case you'll be using self-raising flour, you don't need as much baking powder. I'll give you the measurements in a minute. And sugar. We need vegetable oil. Normally when you use butter, for most recipes, when you use butter is when you need a mixer so that you cream the butter and the sugar together. And that's not the case for this recipe. You also need vanilla essence. This is completely optional, so if you don't have it, don't worry about that. And I'm also going to need some milk and chocolate chips, which is also optional. So let's first start with the bananas. Just going to peel them. Oh, I also have my assistant here with me today. My brother, my baby brother. Come, son. So he's going to be helping me clear the space and bring in more ingredients. And he'll just say, hope you have a wonderful time in this recipe. So first you're going to, and remember guys, before you start baking, please wash your hands. Yeah, you don't want to get sick. Always make sure you wash your hands before you handle food. So my bananas were quite small, so I used 4. If you have the big bananas, you can use 2 or 3. And the amount of sugar that you will use will be dependent on the bananas. But don't worry, I will include everything, all the measurements that I have used in the description box, so don't worry about that. Let me help you with a napkin. So the first thing that you need is a potato masher. If you don't have this, a fork will do just fine. So mash till they're completely small and smooth. So we have 4 very ripe bananas. So you can help me clear this. So we have that done. Just look at that. Can't focus. Mash them very, very well. Put it out with a spoon. Then next, I'm going to add the sugar. So I used 4 bananas, and that's a bit on the lower end. Remember, if you are to use the big bananas, you would use 2 or 3. I normally don't like my banana cake to be so banana-y. And the more bananas you use, the sweeter the cake will be. So if you will use 2 large bananas, you will use between half a cup and 1 cup, depending on how sweet you want it to be. But I like to use 3/4 cups of sugar. If you use 3 bananas, that's on the higher end, so you don't need as much sugar because the bananas will already have its own sweetness. So if you use 3 large bananas, use half a cup of sugar. Since mine was on the lower end, this is 3/4 cup of sugar. Have that there. Then have my rubber spatula. So mix that up. If you don't have a rubber spatula, you can use a mwiko and it works just fine. You stir it. Then our next ingredient, eggs. I used 3 eggs for this recipe. So just slightly beat your eggs, then you add them to the mixer. Eggs. So let me bring you the milk tafadhali. So mix that again, and you're going to add the oil. This is 3/4 cup of oil, vegetable oil. And our next ingredient is milk. If you've run out of milk, you can use water. So for milk, I'm going to put 1/4 cup. Quarter cup of milk. You can return this one. Mix that up really well. And guys, that's it for the wet ingredients. All that we're left is flour. Flour usually comes in last. Now I have my vanilla essence. Ideally, you're just supposed to put like a teaspoon. I usually just wing it, yeah. I just put whatever I think is okay. And I use Pradeep. Jamini, this YouTube thing, I'm so new to this. I use Preheat vanilla essence. It's the best. It's really strong, so you just need a few drops and inashika vizuri. Now for the flour, guys, remember I had told you I'll give you the exact measurements. So for my all-purpose flour, this is 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and I will use 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda. In case you're using self-raising flour, just put half a teaspoon. And whenever you're using your bicarbonate of soda or baking powder, always flatten the top. Two teaspoons. Just mix it a bit. And we're going to add the flour mixture into the wet ingredients slowly, a little bit at a time. Wherever to start in. But this is also a good time to preheat our oven. So this cake, we will cook it at 180 degrees for 45 minutes. This is in case your oven is, like the heat is coming, you've set the setting for the heat to come from both the top and the bottom. 45 minutes for 175 or 180 degrees Celsius. But don't worry about how to see if it's ready. I'll show you guys when I'm taking mine out. So let me switch the oven on for me, please. So guys, I also want to say, I learned all my baking from the internet. Okay, a large part of my baking from the internet. Some of it I was taught by my sister, and I recently went to a baking school. And I've been baking for quite some time. Consistently, I have been baking since 2020. And in case you need a cake, you should check out my business page at Meg's Pastries. I will also leave a link to that in the description. Meg's Pastries for all your birthday cakes, graduation, wedding. I got you. I'll seem like it's a bit thick, so I want to add some milk. I've added 1/4 cup of milk, so in total I have used 1/2 cup of milk. Remember, if you don't have milk, water works just fine. So guys, do you see the way this is a simple recipe? Don't have the same old breakfast that you have every single day. You know, spice things up a little bit. And as it's a very simple recipe, why not? You should totally do it. And if you guys, by the way, are interested in more recipes, can let me see what I can do. Now, the last step is to add your chocolate chips. Remember, it is optional, and you do that after you mix everything in. Look at that consistency. Yes. Here are my chocolate chips, and I used dark compound chocolate. You can use chocolate chips if you have that, and if you don't have access to compound chocolate, you can always use the normal chocolate, but I prefer using compound chocolate. It has a higher melting point than normal chocolate. So when you use this kawaida one, there's a way it melts, like it melts too much. Though if you have it, it's still fine. The outcome will still be nice, and the cake will still be as tasty. So it's not such a problem. That is it for the recipe. I mean, how simple is this recipe? How simple is this recipe? Oh, and I forgot to mention, in case you are looking for dark compound chocolate, you can get it in this baking supply shops. I usually get mine from either Topsa in town or Afrokeka, it's also in town. And you can check out their Instagram if you have any inquiries, or they both have websites, and the websites are quite simple to use, so you can just see how much it is there. I will attach a photo just in case. Then this is my sufuria. You don't have to have a baking tin to bake. I like to use the aluminum ones. So I just coated this with butter, with Blue Band. I just coated it all over, and then sprinkled, I dusted it with flour. So the reason why I like using a rubber spatula, it really scrapes off all the butter that is in your bowl. There's kidogo wastage. And that's, imagine that's it, guys. That's it for, that's my dad. That is it for the recipe, as it is such a simple recipe. In case you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask me in the comments, and I will answer all of them. So let me show you guys, I put it in the oven. Hey guys, so it's time to take the cake out of the oven. After the 45 minutes, I did check, but it was not ready. And this can happen if your cake is a bit more liquid. So I added 25 more minutes, and let's check if it is ready right now. So I said I'd show you how to check if that is ready. So what you need is a clean knife, and then just put the knife through in the middle and take it out to check. If there are no breadcrumbs, then the cake is ready. If there's no moistness, it is ready. So you can see there's no, that's just the chocolate that has melted and that you can see. So the cake is ready. So don't forget, after like 45-50 minutes, check if your cake is ready past the same. And if it's not ready, put it back in for a few more minutes. And also, while the cake is cooking, those past 45 minutes, don't open the oven, don't let cold air into the oven, because that will affect how your cake will cook. Yeah. So I'm also going to show you guys something else. I'm going to do a glaze for the cake. I've never made this glaze before, so I really hope it will turn out nice. Yeah, a chocolate glaze. So I'm now making the chocolate glaze for the cake, and I'll be using chocolate. This is the same dark chocolate. It's about 180 grams, 200 thereabouts, and I use some honey and butter. I use Daima butter, unsalted. Yes. And I'm going to be using the double boiler method. In case you don't know what the double boiler method is, you take 2 saucepans. One, you fill it with water, just a bit of water, and then you will have this on top, and this is where we put our chocolates, our butter, and our honey. We don't want it to touch the heat directly, so it will melt from the steam of the water that's here boiling. So I've just put it on right now, so it's not yet hot. Let me put this first. Now for this stage, you have to use compound chocolate. You can't use the kawaida chocolate that you usually eat. It's not going to work. So just use compound chocolate. Yeah. Remember, I said you can get it from TopServe or Afro Cakery, or another place you can actually get it in supermarkets. I'll insert a picture so that you guys know how it looks. Then I get the butter. This butter is usually 250 grams, and I'm just going to nitapima na macho, half of it. That's 125. Let me cut it on the flat surface. It's from the fridge, so it's a bit hard. And I want to chop it up into smaller pieces so that it's easier to melt. So that's 125. In case it won't be flowing well enough, we're just going to add some more. Oh, by the way, I didn't show you guys how the cake is. I mean, look at how smooth it is. Wow. And it should just slide right off the sufuria. That's what it did. You just turn it over and it slides right off. Very nice. And it's quite big. So that's really good. So it has started melting. It has started melting. Just going to keep stirring. And please make sure this saucepan does not touch the water. It will not touch the water. It's usually a bit slow at the beginning, but it will pick up. So look at how it has melted. It's very light, but don't worry, it usually gets thicker after it cools. And now I'm going to add my honey. And I'm going to add like 4 tablespoons.
4.
Yes, 4. If you don't want it to be as sweet, you add less. Okay, you know what? Let me add 3 first. Then if it's not sweet enough, you're just going to add afterwards. I'm going to stir that. I've reduced my heat since everything has melted.
Looks yummy.
Yeah, it does. Oh, and I added a bit of butter. I added like, okay, it was just a bit. The consistency was okay, but I just wanted it to be a bit lighter. I think it's sweet enough. Let me just add one more. So I was right about the 4 tablespoons of honey. So I have the chocolate glaze ready. I really love how it came out. And it's time to cut the cake. So it's time to see how it turned out on the inside. False information. It's about time we see now. Come closer.
The piece of cake.
Not bad.
Looks yummy.
I can show them here.
Very good look.
Yes. So, Mom, how are you today?
Thank you.
Do we look alike, guys? People usually say we do.
We don't.
So we do. I want you to taste the cake. There's the fork. It's clean. It's banana cake with chocolate glaze.
Wow, it looks beautiful. Wow, and soft too. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Delicious. Wow. Can I have the whole chunk?
Yes, you can.
Can watch wait tomorrow?
Yeah, don't worry about weight when eating cake.
And the chocolate is...
No. Sammy, how's the cake?
It was really good.
And how is the glaze?
Nice, but it's a bit sugary.
It's a bit sugary. So guys, if you're not a person who likes sugar, you shouldn't add the honey and it will still taste just fine. So just keep tasting, because different people like it. Some people like it when it's quite thick and it's not as, like the chocolate is not so conk. And if that's the case, you just add a bit more butter. If you don't want it to be so sugary, cut down on the honey or just put 1 tablespoon. Yeah, but that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, and please do share and subscribe. Also, this is the perfect cake for if you like want to spice spice up your breakfast. So like for Monday morning, just prepare it Sunday evening, and it's going to take like 2 hours. Preparation is really simple, 30 minutes max, and it goes in the oven for about an hour. So yeah, feel free to take this recipe. I will list all the ingredients in the description box to make it easier for you guys. Thank you so much. Once again, bye.